Hey everyone, welcome back to Adventures with Edna. I'm Chris. Chance has the weekend off. We're down here in Lauren, South Carolina at a little restaurant called Whitefords, and we're checking out a very small Cars and Coffee this morning. So these are some of the guys from the Lawrence County Cruisers, where we had the Cars and Coffee of Clinton recently. So we thought we would come check this one out and maybe get some food. We got here a little bit late, so it looks like everybody's inside eating right now. So we're kind of out here with the cars. So we're going to see if we can get some of these cars checked out before we go in and eat for ourselves. On a side note, just to update you guys, I did get the clutch pedal return spring on Edna finally the other day. And I found out that it is a 15-minute job that takes 2 hours to accomplish. Take that as you will. Special thanks to Ken at Early Ford for hooking me up on that spring. So we're back in business with that. So anyway, let's check out some cars. There's that truck we didn't get to see last time. We got him on video speeding off last time. We didn't get to see him. He headed out on us too early, so we'll definitely be able to check him out today. Sounds good. So we spoke to this gentleman at the Clinton Cars and Coffee, and he didn't drive the panel, so we didn't get a chance to see it until now. Looks pretty cool to finally actually be at a show where we could see another F1. Now, I don't remember exactly what year he said this is. It would definitely be a 49 to 50. This is pretty much like the one that we got the steering column out of at Ray's Recycling. I wonder what this little seam is for. Maybe there was a rain gutter there. I don't know. I haven't really seen too many of these. As a matter of fact, this is only the second one I've ever seen in person. It's got the dolphin gauges. I think he modernized a lot of this. He's got the later model column in here. I think he said it's a 302, but I don't remember for sure. Maybe we'll run into him and get a chance to ask him about it a little bit. American flag blanket's cool. Oh, the gas tank's on the driver's side on this one. That's interesting. See, he's moderned up his headlights too. How you doing?
Good, and you?
Good.
Taking a couple snapshots, are you?
Oh, we're videoing, actually.
Are you?
Yeah. Yeah, we didn't get to see you at Cars and Coffee. We pulled in right as you left.
Oh, yeah.
And then we did get to see you taking off down the road. It sounds good.
Yeah.
That's a nice looking truck. I love the color on it.
So that's a 2022 Mustang GT color. It's called Velocity Blue.
Velocity Blue.
Yeah.
That's a good color. I like it.
Back when last year I was still driving a truck, and I was just getting ready to start working on this thing. And I was still throwing some ideas around in my head for the colors. Mm-hmm. And sitting there at a stoplight, and I see this Mustang coming up. I seen the color on it. I'm like, it's going by. I'm like, that's the one right there. So later on that night, I went online and I started looking at Mustang GT colors, and I found it. And I was like, yep, that's the one. So
that's good.
Because I almost, one of my first ideas was to do a matte finish instead of a full gloss with that color. And once I started spraying the color, I was like, nah. I grabbed the gallon of full gloss clear and said, nah, it's gotta be gloss. Too pretty.
You should pull up to behind him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I always wanted to build a gasser since I was a kid. I built a model kit of one.
Oh yeah.
I was like 9 years old, and just always wanted to have a gasser. And that was because before I built it, because this is an old farm truck, And
You never know now.
and
Would when he brought it home.
yeah. But there's so many different ways you can go, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, the popular thing with these is guys put the Crown Vic front suspension under it and this and that and drop it down to the weeds. And I'm like, yeah, but Highboy looks so cool.
Yeah.
You know, it's
it
like
does look
old
really
school
good.
cool.
It's got a nice stance to it.
Yep. I wish the back came down about another 1.5 inches, but I'm not cutting the factory shackle. I mean,
Yeah.
the spring mounts off it to put an aftermarket spring mount on it.
Yeah.
I did an extended shackle, and that gave me about 2 inches.
Yeah.
So it's, and the thing is with that, because I left the twin I-beam in it, you can't lift it because then the tires start going like this, and you can bend them and get them straight again, but it's like this truck pretty much. That's all original except for the front bed panel and the tailgate. Other than that, that's all the original sheet.
Oh, that's cool.
Truck, so,
yeah, that twin I-beam setup is funny. I had a 69, and every time I'd go get mulch to do around the yard, the back end, it would drop all the way down. Oh, yeah. It suddenly,
around a corner.
Yeah, it did not want to steer after that. It was like you felt like the steering wheel was all over the place. And like you said, the wheels are pointed out.
Oh, yeah.
You're riding on the outside of the tires.
At least if they went the other way, then it would improve the handling. But when you go positive camber, man, it's over. Let me pull it up.
Sounds great.
Yeah, because it's a manual shift, I didn't have to be too concerned with the camshaft selection, so I went as gnarly as I wanted, you know, before you get into clearance and the pistons and everything, you know what I mean? I didn't want to get into extra machine shop work, so.
I like the finish you went with on the inside since it's actually not glossy.
This is the factory color of the truck. That's the original. It's the same white with that Wimbledon white that Ford used on everything. So I kept with the white on the interior, but then the only thing that was red from the factory was, believe it or not, was the column. So I just did accents. So I did the this panel with the red there, you know, just to kind of, because I kind of went for the red, white, and blue theme, you know. Yeah. So. And then I found these seats with the red stitching. So what I'm going to do is build a nice little console to go in between the seats and have it upholstered to match those seats. Yeah, I did that in my 69 Ford. I had the modern seats with the, and I put a big console with some nice cup holders in it. And then because this truck didn't come with a radio, the only option back in 1965 was an AM radio. And it would go right, you know, where a radio would go in the middle there. But it didn't even option that. There was 0 options on this truck. Not even the cigarette lighter that's on the dashboard. I added that just so somebody would have a charging port. Oh, yeah. It was literally, there was a chrome metal plug stuck in the hole. Oh, yeah. Where the lighter would be. The pigtail on the wire harness was right behind it, waiting for the connection. But it's like, nah, I ain't spending extra money on this truck. You know? Because it was bought brand new by a farmer back in '65 in Honeypath. And he was a single guy, and I guess he was a very, very devout Christian, and he was a minister, and he was also a Lawrence County. That on a gasser, what a gasser is back in the mid '60s. Guys were looking for an inexpensive way to go drag racing. Yeah. So they would take a truck like this, put a silly motor in it with dual quads or a blower or something sticking through the hood. That would be a fuel tank. So they wouldn't use the factory fuel tank. So they just put 2 or 3 gallons in, just enough to make it down a quarter mile. And they always had a slightly nose-up stance. Skinny little tires in the front, as big as you can get on a 10-inch wheel in the back, because the rules were that you couldn't have more than a 10-inch wide rim, so you had to stuff the biggest tire you could get on that little 10-inch wheel. buy the stock bar is I'm going to build. They usually use like a 50 to 60 inch long ladder bar or a traction bar.
Mm.
So it's going to have a big long traction bar that's going to connect up underneath the cab, and those will be painted red.
Oh, okay.
So you'll see that from the side. And so I still got a couple little things, and then I get my decals made up. And yeah, it's kind of a cult following. If you go on to Southeast Gassers, it's a club here in the Southeast, and you'll see all kinds of.
Yeah, we've been up the Shady Side when they've been there.
You?
Yeah,
Okay.
as a matter of fact, I ran my 50 down the track. Not at one of the Gasser events, but it was at Steel in Motion.
Oh, okay.
And I raced a hearse.
And you beat him.
No, I did, but it was.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, because you got.
Yeah, I mean, mine's all stuff. He got me on the first run. I think he said his carburetor was flooding or something on the second two runs.
Maybe vapor locking or
something like that. Yeah, he kept shutting off, so I think that was the only reason I won. But it was kind of funny because that thing has a horrible turning radius, and but man, he couldn't even make the turn to get off the track and would have to back up. And then they have that, and then they have the staging lanes out back, and he had to do the 3-point turn there too. Wow. It was crazy. I didn't realize that thing was that long, but like I always feel like I can't turn around, but man, he had it way.
How did you take your case out?
I think that Porter Walls too, I think. At least I'm not the only one faking the funk. This is a cool color too. It's like the non-metallic version of his.
You're going to have a hell of a time getting all that rubber compound residue off. I can't get that stuff off.
The motor's really shaking in there. Can you see it? Yeah. The shifter.
There's wood in there.
Oh, that's cool. I like that. It's like a delivery. But they both have the license plate that says Bug. Let's go check out the rat rod down at the end. Chevrolet. Somebody was talking about, I think they call these like a ram's head manifold, and somebody was talking about them, and I want to say it was.
If you look on it here, it looks like you have 2 horns and 2 eyes and a nose in the middle.
That's probably why they call it that then. But I think it was Puddin's Fab Shop was talking about it, and I think he said that for whatever reason people like those because they're just as good as having headers or something. I mean, I never verified it or anything, but I just remember hearing that about them. But I guess if you're going to not get headers, that's kind of like something people like.
I like that plaid.
Yeah, the plaid looks good.
Military green.
You see the shocks coming up through the floor. I don't know if this is like the same, but they call it on a Ford when it has like this back part, they call it a Victoria. I never really figured out why.
Is it Victoria, like Victorian time?
Yeah, it's just called like it'd be the body style.
Okay.
Like you could get like a Model A with the Victoria body style. It'd be like a sedan, but it'd be a Victoria.
Because of the dresses they used to wear.
I thought in the 30s they were going with the flapper dresses.
It's not Victoria.
I don't know. Maybe that eventually became the Crown Victoria. What else is here? What else is here that we haven't met? Well, there's the Firebird down there. And the El Gato. For some reason, Chance calls it that. I don't know why. He just thinks that, for some reason, Camino didn't stay in his head. So he started saying El Gato, and now for some reason he likes him. Yeah, he was at the Cars and Coffee because he's got that V in the hood. Yeah, I think they were sitting on the tailgate. Evil Energy. Caterpillar.
I asked you what that was.
Yeah, I don't know. Oh, I didn't realize we were back on my phone.
My phone don't have any space.
$49.98.
Please do not touch.
Very nice overall. $67. Actually, I'm assuming it's a 67 because of the vent wings, because on the 67 and 68 Camaro, you can tell the difference because the 67 has the vent wings, but the 68 doesn't. Yeah, it's a 67. It's on the license plate. This seems kind of weirdly spaced out.
Yeah.
I wonder if they're just like that and I never noticed. Mustang looks pretty cool. GT, 60 years. You want to go inside, get something to eat? Hungry? Well, I think that's going to do it for this episode of Adventures with Edna. We saw some cool cars. Finally got to see a panel truck out in the wild. We went in and had some sausage biscuits, or some gravy biscuits for breakfast, which was definitely good. So check out Whitefords for breakfast if you want. Don't forget, there's adventures out there everywhere. You just have to find them. Chance will be back in the next one. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.